Listen, listen, we have to discuss breaking news involving the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz have an MVP, and his name is Kyle Filipowski. This guy was the truth and a half. He was a dominant force in the middle. He showed that he could stretch it out to the perimeter. The Utah Jazz clearly have their big man of the future. They have obviously Walker Kessler there. A lot of people don't know what's going on with him. They got his name all in trade rumors, but I don't know what's gonna happen just yet. But when you got Kyle Filipowski, this guy, you might want the youth movement seem like it's just flowing up there in Utah now. Shout out to Walker Kessler. This guy is still a part of the youth as well. We're gonna find out what they do with him. We got to find out what do the Utah Jazz truly want to do. Do they want to be competitive? Because Walker Kessler, he's only 23 years old. Kyle is 21. This Jazz roster is very young. Kyle obviously fits in with all of these guys. When you look at Cody, when you look at Isaiah, Ace, clearly Ace Bailey seems to be going to be the focal point on this roster. I believe that the Jazz is going to give him every bit of just everything to be the number one option of this team. If he doesn't become that, that would be on him. But the Jazz seem to be positioning Ace Bailey as the go-to guy, at least by the season's end or midway through the season for the Jazz. They didn't pick him for no reason. Um, Kyle was a second round pick. He was drafted 32 overall. A lot of people were shocked that he even slipped that far down in the first place. A lot of people had him projected in the 2024 draft as a late first round pick. So that was a shocker, for people that he even slipped there. So shout out to Utah because they truly got themselves one. He averaged 16 points, 8 rebounds as a sophomore at Duke. Kyle Filipowski was also named the 2023 ACC Tournament MVP and consensus All American second team selection. Speaking of all teams, he was all first team summer league. So this guy was a force, and we got a chance to watch him because we was covering Ace Bailey, and this guy was just jumping off the screen every single time. It's unfortunate that he didn't get an opportunity to play with Ace Bailey as much as we would have liked. I really don't know what the NBA Summer League is turning into when you have top picks just not showing up to work. I really don't like that. I don't like what's happening here. I do believe that I wouldn't say we got robbed, but we got shortchanged. Whenever we don't see Ace versus Khan, we don't see Ace versus, his college teammate. Obviously, we're going to see that as we get into the NBA. But come on, this is the summer league. These top picks have to set the tone. You cannot play one game and go off and just sit for the rest. You just shouldn't do that. A lot of these players haven't even played any type of real basketball in a long time. Some of these people was put out of college championships, or they never even made it. So I don't like the notion of what's going on, today. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. Kyle put it on. He put on. We just got to call it how we see it. So clearly, we have to see what Ainge and this front office wants to do. But this is a good start. You have a promising young core in the Utah Jazz. Clearly this team is maybe 3 to 4 years away. When you look at Utah, they're gonna be competitive, and I was saying 3 to 4 years. But I like what we're seeing. I like what we have been seeing. When you got Kyle, I like how he fits with Keontae George. I like Cody Williams. Right now, he's not bad to back up Walker Kessler until you figure out what you want to do. But as I evaluate this roster and me knowing the the pick situation for the Utah Jazz, knowing that it doesn't bode well for them to win this year because they're going to lose their pick. But we just don't know what Utah is going to do. They're holding on to guys like Laurie Markkinen and Walker Kessler. I keep saying Walker Kessler because Something tells me Walker Kessler is not going to be looking to lose games. Laurie Markkinen is not going to go out there to tank. So the Jazz they're going to have to figure something out if they're put in this situation. And I really firmly believe that they're going to do something drastic in order to ensure that they get their draft pick, and continue this youth movement. Pardon me. And we have to see. We just don't know the progression of Ace Bailey just yet. How far along are they? But I would hold on to guys like Laurie and Walker Kessler. Laurie, in my opinion, it just screams that he's going to eventually be out the door. Um, Laurie Marketing, to me, like I said, he strikes me as a guy that should be playing, for a title. He's 28 years old. He's clearly in his prime, or going dead set into it. He had some injuries, that he dealt with. I think that the Jazz may be trying to play him, get his trade value up, because I'm not sure what you can get for Laurie. I don't think you're going to get a haul, but I do think you could get a first round pick. If he plays really well, and by the trade deadline, you might get 2 first round picks. But I do think Laurie should secure you at least one if you're the Jazz. And is that what you're looking for? Is that what the Utah Jazz are looking for? But I like the way he fit with these guys. Obviously, we got Walter Clayton on this roster, another pick by the Jazz this upcoming year. So you got to be enthusiastic if you're a Jazz fan. They have arguably one of the most exciting young cores in basketball, and we didn't even really get a chance to see them. Like I told you, we got Ace Bailey, one of the most controversial picks, probably in the last Lord knows when. We didn't even get an opportunity to see, how he looked. We didn't even get an opportunity. We saw a low appetizer and they pulled them. So I mean, these are definitely things to evaluate. And as the season progresses, we'll do that. But I do think you're looking at a whole nother summer league outlook if the guys play. VJ Edgecombe didn't even play, even though he played well in the California Classic. These guys didn't even show up. So I mean, I think that's tough. I wanted to see VJ versus Dylan Harper. We didn't get a chance to see that. I wanted to see a VJ versus Khan Knipple. Shout out to Khan Knipple. You see, he played pretty much just about the whole situation. He might have sat out, but he came back. And look at him. He won MVP. They won the title. Clearly, your top picks have to play. It is what it is. You can't sit everybody. I'm gonna leave it at that, because the Jazz should have been in the championship. The Jazz should have been a team a lot further along in this summer league. But I'm gonna leave it at that. It's Flight Sports TV. Make sure you hit the like button if you're new. Most definitely hit the subscribe button. Shout out to the Utah Jazz. Peace and love.